The story of Bà Hoa, healing with herbs and love. In the quiet countryside of Vietnam, where endless rice paddies shimmer like green seas under the sun, lies a small village sustained by rice grains, bird songs, and the rhythms of festival drums. The dirt path winding through the fields leads to a modest wooden house standing humbly by the paddies. From its open windows drifts a scent, soft and earthy, of dried herbs, lemongrass bundles hanging from bamboo rafters, turmeric roots resting in woven baskets, and jars of leaves carefully stacked on shelves. Inside that house lives a woman of 70, her hair silver as moonlight, her back slightly bent with age but her gaze still warm and steady. To her neighbors, she is more than a grandmother. She is Bà Hoa, the herbal healer of the village. Childhood, the seed of healing. As a child, Hoa was unlike the other village children. While her friends played hide and seek among the rice stalks, she trailed behind her grandmother, who carried a woven basket into the fields. Her grandmother's hands, wrinkled, calloused, yet graceful, could identify plants by the tilt of a leaf, the curve of a stem, the faint fragrance released when crushed. "Every plant has a soul," her grandmother would whisper. "If you listen carefully, it will tell you how it can heal." Those words imprinted themselves into young Hoa's heart. She spent her days memorizing the scent of basil, the bitterness of wormwood, the warmth of ginger. She learned which herbs must be picked before dawn, which leaves gained strength under the full moon. What seemed like ordinary plants to others became a secret language only she and her grandmother understood. Growing up through hardship. Hoa's youth unfolded in a time when modern medicine was scarce. War and poverty left hospitals distant luxuries, and the villagers relied on the earth for their survival. Herbs were not just remedies, they were lifelines. When her grandmother passed, Hoa took up the mantle. But the world around her was changing. More and more, people turned to doctors in white coats and pills in shiny packages. Some mocked her ways, calling them old-fashioned, slow, or unscientific. Yet Hoa did not argue. She simply continued, for she had seen, with her own eyes, lives saved by nothing more than leaves, roots, and patient hands. Stories of healing. Her life became a tapestry of quiet miracles, woven from countless nights of vigilance. There was the stormy night when a child burned with fever. The parents, desperate, carried the child to Hoa's door. With only a lantern to guide her, she walked through the pounding rain into the forest, searching for a rare plant that grew near the stream. All night she boiled herbs, cooling the child's forehead, whispering comfort. By sunrise, the fever broke, and the child smiled weakly in his mother's arms. There was the season when the village chief fell gravely ill. Physicians had come and gone, shaking their heads. "There is nothing more to be done," they said. Yet Hoa, calm as always, brewed a tea from 5 roots, steeped with patience and care. Within days, strength returned to the chief's body. From that moment, doubt gave way to reverence. The village no longer saw her as merely an old woman with plants, but as a healer entrusted by the land itself. Philosophy of compassion. What set Hoa apart was not only her knowledge of herbs but her belief about healing. She never charged much, often nothing at all. The wealthy brought sacks of rice, the poor brought vegetables, and some came empty-handed, offering only a bow of gratitude. "Medicine that heals the body but burdens the heart is not true medicine," she would say with a gentle smile. To her, compassion was the first ingredient in every remedy. She believed herbs drew their strength not from the soil alone but from the love with which they were given. Passing down the fire. Time, however, leaves its mark. Her hands trembled more each year, her back curved lower. Yet the spark in her eyes never faded, especially when she looked at her granddaughter. The young girl sat beside her, watching intently, learning not only how to recognize a leaf but how to listen, to wait, to comfort. "You can learn the recipes," Hoa told her. "But remember, healing begins here." She pressed her hand gently against her chest. Her granddaughter nodded, understanding that the craft was not just knowledge, but inheritance, a living flame passed from one heart to another. The healer at sunset. Now, in the twilight of her life, Bà Hoa sits on the porch, the setting sun painting the sky with strokes of orange and gold. Children laugh in the distance, frogs sing by the paddies, and smoke curls upward from kitchen fires. In her hands, she cradles a bundle of fresh mint, rubbing the leaves softly until their fragrance fills the air. Around her garden, rows of basil, ginger, turmeric, and lemongrass sway gently in the wind, as if bowing to her years of devotion. Villagers still come, not only for medicine but for comfort. They know that even a cup of warm tea from her hands carries a kind of healing no doctor could prescribe. Legacy: the medicine of love. Bà Hoa's story is not simply about herbs. It is about resilience, about the bond between people and the earth, and above all, about compassion. Her life reminds us that healing does not always come from clinics or pharmacies. Sometimes, it comes from a kind word in the night, a steady hand that refuses to let go, or a steaming cup of tea brewed with love. One day, perhaps her name will be remembered only in stories. Yet the land she walked will continue to bloom with healing plants. And every time someone sips ginger tea on a cold evening, or inhales the scent of lemongrass in a village kitchen, her spirit will live on. Because the true medicine she left behind was never just in the leaves, it was in the love she gave to everyone who came to her door. Next time you see a plant, pause. Touch its leaves, breathe its scent, and remember, within every leaf lies the power to heal, just as within every heart lies the power to comfort. What heals you in your life? Is it a memory, a tradition, a person, or perhaps a kindness freely given? Until next time, may you always feel the heartstrings of Vietnam.